Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. We're pleased to have you. This is Trillion's Investor Q&A webinar, where we'll be answering all your burning questions about Trillion. And I know everybody has waited for this. This has been highly anticipated. Today, we have CEO and founder Alex Gomez and Trillion CCO Mike Brady here with us today. We're here to, answer all of your questions, everything that you need to know about this investment opportunity. Also, we want to just get a general feel for the audience. Tell us in the chat, where are you guys coming from? I am checking in from Orlando today. Gentlemen, where are you guys checking in from today?
Alex, go ahead.
Yes, Alex Gomez, founder and CEO. We are based out of Houston, Texas. Really excited to tell you more about our story. It's very, very interesting. What intrigues me the most about our technology is that we can use existing infrastructure and existing fuel, and we convert it into a premium green fuel solution and economical that's massively could be implemented worldwide.
And I'm Mike Brady. I'm tuning in from Houston, Texas as well. And really pleased to have you attend our seminar or webinar this morning on the investor topic. And I've been addressing a number of questions in the Start Engine Q&A section, and look forward to addressing more questions here today. And please be very active in the chat session while we do the presentation, which will be delivered by Alex, and then we'll have a Q&A session to get into some of the specifics on your mind.
Awesome. And I do want to say that we cannot speak to anything that's non-compliant today. So if you have any questions in terms of finances, stuff like that, I implore you to visit the Start Engine page. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link in the chat, so you can basically go over in between this webinar to find out everything you need to know. So Alex, we have a presentation.
All right, let's get started. Yep, I'll share my screen now. Okay, this is a test. Okay, so thank you for your time, everyone. Trillion is a company registered in the state of Louisiana. We have a DBA called Trillion Energy in the state of Texas. That's where we have our operations in North Houston. I've been working on this project for about 7 years' time. When I captured this opportunity, what intrigued me the most was the option to use existing infrastructure and existing fuel and just convert it into a green premium fuel solution that can be implemented immediately in industry. So that's what allowed us to push towards this technology and growing the team and move towards the direction where the industry is moving towards, is finding green solutions. Again, Trillion is a developer and producer of green fuel technologies. We're not selling equipment, we're not selling chemical. We produce the fuel and we sell the fuel either through our same sales channel, where we produce the fuel in our facility, or through a distributor, or through a licensing agreement. And then the beauty about our product is that we're able to reduce emissions significantly by just switching from regular diesel fuel to hydrogen diesel fuel with no engine modifications or retrofits. This is our team. I'm the founder and CEO. We have 10 professionals in all aspects of the business to help us grow and make it to the mass production facilities that we intend to build. We have Michael Brady here, which is with us today. We have our CTO, Dr. Frame. He's a petroleum engineer, PhD, very knowledgeable with emulsions, blending systems and processes in oil and gas industry. We have a retired rear admiral. He's helping us a lot with the U.S. Navy, major cruise lines, and other maritime opportunities, including DoD and the Navy. We have safety professionals, CFO, we have a gentleman by the name of Renato Storari. He's 20 years experience with water and diesel fuel emulsions for 20 years. He's former Carnival R&D professional director. Now he's formed part of our team. Really excited to have him on board. And you can see in the bottom, all of these icons at the bottoms are companies that either one of us worked for. So we have lots of experience in all aspects of the industry. So we know that fossil fuels, the major contributor for climate change, kill 7 million people every year, according to the Health Worth Organization. 30% of that can be correlated to diesel emissions. And industry is looking for immediate solutions, not 5 years down the road, not something that maybe it will work, or something that may reduce emissions in a lower scale. So we need immediate solutions for industry, and that's what hydrodiesel is all about. So basically, hydrodiesel is a water and diesel fuel nano-emulsion technology. So basically, we have 3 ingredients. We have diesel fuel, we have purified water, and then we have a chemical package that we have developed, and we have a US patent on. These 3 ingredients go through a smart blending process that we have developed. So it ranges from 25 gallons per minute up to 1,000 gallons per minute, continuous quality control measures, communications built in, and then we're able to reduce the micelle of the emulsion down to 60 nanometers, which is a transparent in appearance. So very thermodynamic, stable. And then we took this into account, and we do this daily in our quality control measures, is can this emulsion handle the market conditions? So the answer is yes. So we had to make sure that our fuel was military proof. Can it handle going through filtration processes? Can it go through heat and cold temperatures, fluctuations daily? Can it go through different transfer systems and so forth? So we make sure our fuel is capable and stable in all conditions and real market conditions. So our ratio is 80% diesel and 20% water chemical blend. And we are able to convert 4 barrels of diesel into 5 barrels of hydrodiesel fuel. And then this allows us to, get better combustion, more complete combustion. Engine provides more better efficiency and performance to the engine, reduce emissions, no engine modifications, fill and go, and it can intermix with regular diesel fuel back and forth with no adverse effects. So here on the left, you see hydrodiesel micelle. So this represents what the emulsion is. So the outer layer is your oil, which is your diesel, and then your middle circle is your chemical package that we refer to as HDAS, hydrodiesel additive solution. And then the inside, we have nano droplets of water, 60 nanometers. So this represents the micelle. So water will not touch your engine components, your piping, your tank, your pumps. So water is no water, it's no free water in hydrodiesel fuel. It's inserted and fused inside of the oil droplet. So when the injector in the engine sprays in the combustion chamber, and then since water, the boiling point of water is much lower than diesel, it'll expand as superheated steam, and it will explode. So now you have many droplets of the diesel, where now it's getting all fully completely burnt. So that's where we get the complete burn, where we get better efficiency. The presence of the superheated steam reduces the temperatures of the combustion, reducing NOx, and then also reducing the particulate matter and the soot. So that's where we get the better combustion and better efficiency during the process of using hydrodiesel fuel. So here's an example of an older version. On the right, you see a pink version. And this is using red dye diesel as the base fuel. So it was an opaque in color, 700 nanometers in droplet size. And then we have went up and upgraded our fuel by 10 times at least, I say. And it's now called hydrodiesel plus. So now you see on the left is the transparent look. And this is 60 nanometers in droplet mean. And then you got your lower limit, your lower level is like 30 nanometers, and your upper is like 80 nanometers, but your mean is 60 nanometers. So basically, there's no difference between, or very little difference between the base fuel and the hydrogen plus fuel, which is has helped us a lot for adapting the fuel in the market. We do see a better performance. Thermodynamically stable is way better. We get better fuel economy on it as well. Intermixing capabilities also is much better. So I'm really excited about this clear and bright hydrogen plus solution. So the results of lower emissions, what we're seeing is the CO2 is up to 40%. And the CO2, we base it on a life cycle basis. So this is from wellhead to tailpipe. And when you see this value that says up to, is because this depends on the load of the engine, age of the engine, the type of engine, because they'll have different combustion engineering by each brand, and also the maintenance and uses of the engine and so forth. So that's why we say up to. But CO2 up to 40%, NOx up to 80%, the particulate matter total is 90%, and the black soot up to 90%. So significant emissions reduction by just switching to hydrogen. So I give you an example, some of these operators in California where they have to decommission their vehicles. And it could be happening in many states and many countries in the future, because we know there's going to be strict requirements and standards for industry. But a lot of these vehicles that they have to be decommissioned, and then imagine you having 100 trucks that you have to decommission, and you have to change the engine. You have to put an engine after or an exhaust after treatment system, or you have to replace the whole vehicle. It's very, very expensive. So we can go to these locations, for example, we can say, hey, all you have to do is you switch fuels and you will be compliant. So we can convert a tier 1 and tier 2 engine and make it way better than a tier 4 engine, for example, or a tier 3 or 4 engine by just switching fuels. So this would definitely provide significant savings to the operators while complying with state or government regulations in terms of emissions. We also see improvement in performance up to 10%. So we see improved work output. Engine runs cooler, it runs smoother. We see better fuel economy up to 15%. And when we say up to, again, it depends on the load. Because when you have 5% load and 100% load or 80% load, the combustion is different. So the engine would act a little different as well. So that's why we refer to as up to. But we have reports available to show you the differences on the type of loads and the different engines that we have run, which we have run all kind of engines. So we have run tier 1 to tier 4 engines, 2-cycle, 4-cycle engines, turbo and unturbo, high pressure, common rail, mechanical injectors, electric injectors, electronic injectors. We have run them all. So we're really confident about our product. So reducing emissions, again, are main ones that we focus on is the CO2, the NOx, the SO2, the particulate matter, and the soot. So those are the emissions that we focus on. And we formulate our fuel based on these. These are the main ones, the ones the government or keep an eye on. So that's where we're putting our focus. But talking about extended engine life, so now that we are pretty much reducing the soot up to 90%, well, that's what's happening in the combustion chamber. In turn, that soot, that black carbon, is walking its way down to your engine oil pan. So when you change your oil in your diesel engine, and the next day the engine oil is black again, well, it's because in the combustion chamber has soot, and the soot walks its way down to the engine oil. So we have done lots of tests in different engines. Okay, how can we prove the engine oil will stay cleaner? We're having better lubricated. You can prolong your maintenance intervals. You can reduce downtime. You can reduce the need of engine oil frequently and engine filters and so forth. Well, what we did was, well, if we're seeing that in the tailpipe, we're going to see that in the combustion chamber, but we're also going to see it in the engine oil. So we have reports available And we have learned that after 150 hours, hydrodiesel fuel running on an engine, the engine oil has 15% better lubricity than running diesel fuel on the similar engine. So that will prolong the maintenance intervals by at least 15%. So for operators, cruise lines or big operators with, big trucks and so forth, they're spending millions of dollars in engine oil, not counting your downtime and so forth. It can be very, very valuable for them, big savings. So it's not only the emissions, it's not only the better performance, but also we have to account the savings on the engine life extension. Better engine lubrication means all your components stay better lubricated, cooler, they will last longer. So a lot of these fleets that have a 5-year lifespan to the engines, they can potentially just expand that to 7 years. So now they have, the assets last longer and they're putting money in their pocket. So 20% is what we claim, up to 20% of maintenance reduction. And this is from, less oil changes, you can prolong them, less downtime and so forth, and less wear and tear overall. And then one comment I want to make is hydrodiesel fuel has better lubricity as well. So it's called a score test, and it's done by this ASTM and ISO and so forth. But it's a score test, and the norm requires no more than 520 micrometers, where regular diesel is 460 micrometers and hydrodiesel is 250. So much less wear and tear, keeps the engine better lubricated, and your fuel system will stay lubricated and it will last longer. So diesel fuel demand is humongous, right? It's a commodity, it's a consumable, it's used every day. You go by, you consume it, you won't need more. So the total available market in the world is $1.75 trillion per year, which is massive. And then if we account just the SAM, which is your serviceable available market, 19% in the US Gulf Coast alone is 30.7 billion. So our current registration with the EPA allows us to sell in the off-road market in the US. And other markets, there's no difference between off-road and on-road. There's only because of the tax purposes, it's dyed red, and there's no taxes on red dye diesel, which is for off-road. So that's where we put in a lot of our focus. And on the next slides, I will explain a little more about that. But 30.7 billion in the US Gulf Coast alone. And if we capture 5% of that, that would be $1 billion in revenue. So we targeting to achieve this by year 3. So to achieve this, we've done great. We're building a team. We have a facility in Houston. We have our compliance on our fuel. We got potential customers, potential off-takers, and so forth. But that's where we're transitioning, is to get to this $1 billion mark, to where it's going to create value for Trillion, and then we can prepare to either acquisition or IPO or one of them. So that's where we're heading. So our business model is 4 barrels of diesel fuel. We convert it into 5 barrels of hydrodiesel fuel. So we have diesel 100 parts, and then we add the water, the hydrodiesel additive solution, and then we make 125 parts of hydrodiesel. So we produce the fuel in our facility. Through our sales team, we get it out to the end user, or we produce the fuel, we get it out and sell it to a distributor, and they sell it to the end user. And then the third one is a licensing agreement to a super major oil and gas company. That could even be to a large user in the mining or cruise line, that we set up smart blending systems at their fuel hub, terminal, refinery, or at the job site. Okay. So in fuel sales, we have a 10 to 12% EBITDA. We have a tax abatement of 9 cents per gallon. This would be factored in on the on-road, because now for on-road, we need 20% less fuel. So we'd be buying 80%, and then the other 20% is water and chemical package. So basically here are the money port where Trillion monetizes and Trillion's partners monetize is on the water side. So basically we're selling water for the price of fuel. That's where the money is. And then we know it's coming, and it's getting very aggressive. This is CO2 credits. So there's going to be CO2 credits for green fuel producers, and there's going to be carbon tax to the companies that don't follow or don't find ways to reduce emissions. So Trillium can definitely capture that when it matures a little more. But right now it's $35 a metric ton in the US. And Europe, we know, is about $100, $110 a metric ton. So validation, we have lots of it. I've personally been working this project 7 years, some of the other team members 5. We have done lots of beta testing ourselves in-house on trucks, boats, load, no load, tractors, I mean, you name it. We have been in 8 countries, a lot in Asia and the Caribbean, testing our product in different engines. We have our compliance with ASTM D975 through SGS. We have done testing with major cruise lines in Europe as well. We have reports available. Also, turbine engines, Lycoming T53 airplane engine that we run in Pompano Beach with a major group there. So we're really excited. And we got testing on the way that we preparing for Europe with a OEM, and we're working with the University of Houston. We're going to be doing some research projects together. We're going to be reserving some research students and PhDs. They have allocated a laboratory on campus for Trillium. So there's going to be some exciting moments for us and for UH. They're really excited they joined us. But now they consider a research partner. So we're going to be learning new things about the hydrodiesel and what can we report to show industry what we're learning. So for give you an example, so we know the emissions, okay, but the whys of the emissions, why we're reducing this, why we're reducing that. So we have reports available, but I'm sure scientifically is beyond this, way more than what we have in terms of combustion engineering and simulation. So we're going to be doing this with the University of Houston. So we're really excited. In terms of milestones, we have done lots since 2017, for example. So from our EPA registration for the off-road, we have intentions to do on-road registration. Next year is very extensive, $1.3 million and a year to do. So the off-road industry accounts for 40% of the U.S. demand. So it's really turned off. So is it working now? Can you guys hear me?
No, do it again, Alex.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, but it's very muffled.
Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our EPA on-road registration, we intend to do that next year. We have some maritime IMO, International Maritime Organization endorsement coming up in August this year. We have begun talks with the U.S. Navy, retired Rear Admiral. We have NATO fuel certification as well through SGS. It's F-76, F-75 compliant fuel. We have come up with our hydrodiesel plus, which is the nano version of our fuel, and engaging with the University of Houston, and we're just really excited about all this milestone. So really challenging through the pandemic. If you see the dates, really challenging through the pandemic, but truly we will never stop. We just keep going and creating value, building opportunity, and we managed to be very, very successful during the pandemic. So this is talking about the financials. So for year one, we anticipate 77 million. This is once we get our facility up and running. We intend to do it in the port area. 110 gallons per minute system, continuous. That'll be our phase one.
We intend to achieve 77 million in revenue that will provide significant benefits of trillion in value. Year two, we're looking at 625 million, and then again, $1 billion in year three of revenue. And our valuation, we anticipate going from 50 million to $1 billion in valuation by year three. So this is.
Sorry, they're not able to hear because the audio is muffled for some reason. So
can you guys hear me? Can you hear me, Richard? Hello?
It's a bit muffled.
Okay.
It's a bit muffled, Alex.
All right, we have to. Can you hear me now, Richard? Let me try to look a little bit.
No, it's still kind of muffled. It's like a echo.
Yeah, I think it's just our internet is slow.
maybe just bring the screen closer and try to talk louder.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's still a bit muffled. We can hear you, but there's still an echo.
Okay, I will continue and so can you hear me now, Mike, Richard, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So thanks for, just speak closer to the computer and you should be okay to finish up because we only have a few more slides here and we can go into Q&A.
Okay, you guys can hear me, let me know. So
To the investor right now, we have an open crowdfunding event with Stored Engine where we can raise up to $1.07 million. This is set up on a pre-money valuation of 47 million. This is going to help us transition again to our mass production facility. So that's where we're heading. And then we expect a 20x return by year 3 once we implement and achieve all these milestones. So our funding to date has been nearly $2 million. And this we've been through families and friends, private equity, bootstrapping ourselves, zero debt company. We pay as we go, and then we just make it happen. So year 3, 1 billion valuation. Again, our goal is to IPO or acquisition by a strategic buyer. So Q1 2022, some really good milestones. Again, University of Houston, we engaged with Stored Engine, very, very helpful. We have a $250,000 new chip warrant on the way. The seed equity investment's been $750,000. We have some marine adoption on the way. This will be happening in August. And then we have some really large operators that want to use our fuel here in the Gulf Coast region. So from tugboats and other marine companies, oil and gas operators, fracking industry. So right now we're working on trial programs that they have set up some protocols for us to double check. We all want to double check internally. And then we're going straight to talking about commercial terms and supply agreements. So this is interesting. So we just purchased that truck on the right. It's an International 4300 DT466. That's a little misspelling there. But this is what we want to achieve with this. We want to do it in a around the U.S. trip. It's going to take 12 days time. It's going to take 8,000 miles. It's going to be loaded with hydrodiesel. It's a flatbed truck. So we're going to have a hydrodiesel tank in the back. So we're starting in Houston, we're finishing in Houston. So you see here in the red is our journey. And then on our journey, you're going to be able to check our course, and we're going to have real-time GPS tracking. And you can see where we at, where we stop, and we're going to be having GoPros where you can see videos in the morning, every state point, we stop and take pictures, videos, and so forth. But we're also going to have strategic stops. That we're going to be meeting potential investors, potential partners, and then so forth. So stay tuned. July 5th is our takeoff date. That's what we're aiming for. And you're going to be seeing a link where you can track us real time. And then also what we have upcoming is this IMO class certification for hydro marine gas oil. So this is what a lot of these cruise lines use, okay? And this is going to be done in Europe with a major cruise line, and we should have this certification or report here available sometime in August, September timeframe. So we're working on this. Really exciting. This is going to allow us to jump into the maritime at full speed once we obtain this, and we should see a lot of traction from this event. And then another event that is really interesting is Pikes Peak. So this year in June 26th.
This is the 100th race. Pikes Peak in Colorado Springs. So Boxer team is going to be using our fuel. So we sponsored him. He has to use our fuel. He's excited. He approved it, and he said he's going to win. So we're really excited. So
stay tuned. You're going to hear more about this. June 26th, 2022, Colorado Springs. And that's it. So really, thank you very much for your time. Really excited to be able to tell you more about hydrodiesel, our company, and how we see our solution fit in industry as an immediate and scalable product. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex, for that amazing presentation. And we do want to tell everyone in the chat that this webinar will be recorded or is recorded, and we will be posting it to the Start Engine page as well. I'll go ahead and drop the link in the chat again, so you can go ahead, browse, look at everything Trillion is doing and has to offer currently, and get more information on the raise. So we're about to go into the Q&A section. I see that we have some questions loaded up. However, keep those questions coming in. We're here to answer all questions, and let's get this Q&A going. All right, so we have our first question from Robert Brown. It's hello, Trillion team. What's the status of cruise ship diesel fuel testing?
yeah, so it's a great question. So right now we're working to
Actually ship the fuel to the company out of Europe. And we're anticipating for mid-August is going to be the test. The test is going to be for two fuels, which is marine gas oil, base fuel. And then we're going to have the MGO plus, which is the marine gas oil hydro version, which is ours. So we have completed the conversion of the fuel. We have it in a warehouse. We are arranging to put this 10 totes in a 20-foot container. It takes 35 days to reach Europe, and 2 days with the base fuel, and then 2 days with the hydro fuel. And then we should see a report in the next 2 weeks thereafter. But the end of August, September timeframe, we should have a report.
And I'll add to that comment. Yeah, and Alex mentioned this during the presentation. One aspect of this that is so significant for Trillion is that the test is actually being third-party witnessed by our client's marine surveyor, which is Lloyd's Registry. If anybody has been engaged in the marine sector or the offshore oil and gas sector, Lloyd's Registry is one of the most notable third-party agencies that witness and verify certain testing and fabrication and manufacturing standards. So having this done is significant to us because we'll have this class certification completed that will be able to show any merchant marine cargo company, such as the big cargo vessels that cross the oceans, or cruise lines, or even local independent operators. So it really does open the door and provide a lot of validity for us selling fuel in the future into the marine market overall.
Awesome. And our next question is from an anonymous attendee. Can you speak to any upcoming partnerships?
Yeah, so we have in the oil and gas industry, we have a couple. We have one that is pretty big. It's in Midland, Texas, and is mainly related to the fracking industry. So a lot of these fracking jobs, which a lot of them in Midland and all over the US as well, is they consume 30 to 40,000 gallons or so per day, and that's per job. And there's around 200 job sites. So the group that we're speaking with, which they want to do a trial program on a Caterpillar diesel generator, I believe it's 3512s. And as soon as we finish with this trial program, they want to start talking about setting up a blending system in Midland, Odessa area. So that's one of them. So that's really, really big. So that could potentially become, 30,000 gallons times 3 is $1.5 million of fuel or so per day. So really big. And the other one is an opportunity we have with the local company that they have a port at Port Lavaca near Victoria, Texas. So they have allocated the facility for us to set up a smart blending system in a partnership with them. And it's by the canal, and their neighbor is one of the largest tugboat companies. And they purchase around $1 billion of fuel every year. So that would be one of our first customers. So those are the major ones in the Texas area. The other one is major cruise line that we're working with, we mentioned, and we have to complete the class certification here in August. And then our goal is to set up smart blending system in Miami to start, and then expand throughout the US. So Mobile, Alabama, New Orleans, Galveston, Los Angeles. And then from there, we go globally. So those are our main top opportunities. And then below that, we have, smaller ones. Well, smaller is still big, but, in the yacht industry, construction, agriculture, power generation, and so forth. So that's just in the US. Internationally, we have an opportunity ongoing for Bolivia. They import their fuel 100%. They're trying to reduce their imports from neighboring countries. And applying our solution, they can reduce up to 25% of their imports. So it's a huge benefit for the government. So not only financially, but also environmentally as well. And then some other opportunities we have going in Southeast Asia, South Africa, Italy, and those are ongoing talks that we have. So those are our nearby opportunities. But one thing to keep in mind is that, and we are very confident about it, is once we set up our mass production facility in the Houston area, which is going to serve as a mass production facility, and we're going to have a full-scale chemical lab and a full-scale engine lab as well. So what we'll anticipate is that once we have this mass production system built, that many will follow. Many people will want to use our technology. Many people want to have blending systems. And for your reference, it takes about 4 months' time to build a smart blending system. So it's very, very rapid, scalable, it's small footprint and economical. So our vendors are ready. Our chemical vendors are ready to meet the growth that we want to do. And our equipment providers also are ready to be able to meet the demand that we expect.
Excellent.
Excellent. We have a question here from Jeffrey, and it is, are you selling hydrodiesel to the offshore market yet? Or if not, when are you looking to do this?
It's a good question. So that's actually what the two potential partners we're working on now that's on the way. So these guys are offshore companies as well. So for power generation on rigs, pumps, hydrodiesel fuel would be a great solution. So another point to mention is that the hydrodiesel fuel can be produced on site as well, just as an example. So we have the maritime companies we're speaking with, they have they want to explore the opportunity to blend at sea. The Navy wants to blend at sea. So we can have the diesel on board, we can have the chemical package on board. Every rig or every ship has a reverse osmosis or desalination system to purify the water from seawater. And then a small blending system can be on board, and then you can make hydrodiesel on site. So that's, I just want to point that out as how compact and flexible is to make our fuel and convert it into this premium fuel. But we are interested in the offshore market, and we're starting on road at the moment. But that's going to be coming in pretty soon.
Awesome. And we actually have another question from Jeffrey. What is the cost benefit of hydrodiesel in comparison to regular diesel?
So that's a great question. So we have to account not only on the cost of the fuel, which we are working to have at the same price as regular diesel fuel. The other one is the better fuel economy. So we have a better fuel economy up to 15%. So you will use less of our product versus regular diesel. And then the other savings is the maintenance reduction up to 20%. So that would be less engine oil. It would be less downtime. You can prolong your maintenance intervals. Your asset will run cooler, less stress, less wear and tear. Now you can prolong and extend the life of your assets, of your engine. So overall, you're gonna have, if you calculate it on $1 per hour, you're gonna have huge savings with hydrodiesel versus regular diesel fuel.
Awesome. And we have a question from Brendan. Do you see expansion into other regions as a short-term goal for Trillion?
No, not at all. So we have conversations with multiple countries at the moment, and we anticipate next year is when we're going to start deploying internationally. This year, we want to focus on getting Houston up and running. It doesn't mean that we don't talk to anybody internationally. We start the conversation. It takes time because they have to run economics. We have to run cost benefit analysis. We have to understand, are there any incentives in their countries? What's the price of fuel? Is it subsidized? We have to understand all of these parameters, and it takes time to build that. But what we do is we start those conversations. We prepare to do the deployment with this group in any given country. But our objective is to go global, starting in Houston, Texas.
Amazing. We have a question here from Chris. Have you tested hydrodiesel in a Class 8 truck that has an after treatment system that injects fuel into the exhaust, into clean diesel particulate filters?
Yeah, great question. So that's a really good question. So the after treatment system is two components to it. So you have the particulate filter, right, that captures the soot, the particulate matter when it gets clogged or blocked, and then is superheated, and then it converts the soot into ash, and then it goes out the exhaust. So that's the first one. The second one is a NOx sensor. So it is a injector, and then you use a fluid, which we all know as diesel exhaust fluid, which is pretty much urea and water. So this, depending on the NOx levels, it sends a signal to the computer, and then it sends a signal to the injector to inject the DEF fluid. Okay, so for us, is a really good solution for the after treatment system, and we have run lots of it, by the way. So since we're reducing the soot and the PM up to 90%, it means that now your particulate filter will stay cleaner. It will last longer. You don't have to take it apart, get it cleaned somewhere. The other is, since we're reducing the NOx up to 85%, well, now you have to use less DEF fluid because now it's less NOx emissions. So those are the two main components we see. Now, the after treatment system works really well in reducing NOx on the tailpipe and also the particulate matter because they have the after treatment system, but it doesn't stop CO2. CO2 goes straight through it. So for us is the value comes on extending the life of the PM filter. You need less DEF fluid because we're reducing NOx up to 85%. So those are the two main components, but Tier 4 engines, we have run lots of them.
Amazing. We have another question from Jeffrey. Are smart blending plants currently available for sale for foreign market, and what is the price tag for small units?
So our smallest unit is 25 gallons per minute. That can produce 36,000 gallons per day, nearly $28 million of revenue per year. Okay, and is intended to be in a location where you can produce the fuel because it's massive. 36,000 gallons per day is quite massive. It takes 4 months time to build. It fits in a 20-foot container, housed in like our sea container. You can open the doors from the side. For bigger units, we use 40-foot container. And at the moment, we don't have a unit built. It's on the way at the moment. We anticipate at the end of the year, before the end of the year, like November, October timeframe, we're going to have a 12 gallons per minute system that we're actually building right now in our warehouse. If we have some for sale, no, we do not have them in stock right now to sell them.
Awesome, awesome. So we have a question from Sabino Martinez. When will hydrodiesel be marketed to the public and where?
So we're targeting the off-road market. So that would be agriculture, marine, construction, off-road, power generation. So those are the markets that we're targeting in the US because that's what the EPA allows to. For other countries, again, is no difference between off-road, on-road. We can go straight into the market, you know, from trucks to diesel generators, for example. We actually have it available right now. The facility we have in North Houston is we have capability of 3,000 to 5,000 gallons per day. At the moment, with the potential partners and off-takers that we're speaking with, they are using our fuel as trial programs. So they're not, and then some of them have used it for a year, like some of the yacht owners in Kima, Texas. They have used it for about a year now. So those are continuous buyers, but a lot of these big operators, they're not interested to buy 500 gallons, 1,000 gallons, because they consume 1 million gallons a month, you know? So what they want to do is they want, okay, send me 1,000 gallons a week, for example. We're going to trial it. We know that you have to build your mass production facility, but let's prepare together to get to that mass production system you need to be able to supply us. Other big operators, for example, in the dredging business, their smallest tank is 45,000 gallons. So, and that's every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks or so. So what we do is we continue the talks, you know, provide samples, you know, for trial programs, and then they standing by for us to get our system up and running. So that's why we're very anxious to get a mass production facility up and running because our demand is higher than our supply. So we need to get proper funding in the company. We have a strong team. We have certifications. We have, you know, blending system. We have an engine lab, chemical lab here in Houston. So now we need that extra boost to be able to make it to the next level.
Amazing, amazing. And we have a follow-up question from Sabino as well. What is the shelf life of hydrodiesel?
Hydrodiesel Plus has a shelf life of up to 1 year with no externalities. Externalities means if someone adds the emulsifier, biocide, or any other chemicals to it. So up to one year's time. So in our warehouse here, in any of you are welcome to come and visit, but we have a tank that has 2,000 gallons. It's been sitting there for 8 months, and we use that fuel almost every week to deliver. So we did that purposely because it's in part we are checking the storage capabilities of our fuel. So we do have other tanks, but we did it purposely where we produced fuel in early November. We produced fuel, and then okay, we're gonna leave this fuel here for a year, and then we're slowly gonna be grabbing fuel. And then part of our testing that we do every week is that we run it through the chemical lab, and we do all sorts of tests. So we go from heating and cooling, different, you know, temperature fluctuations. And also we do a centrifuge, which is accelerated gravity. So we do 2,400 G-force for 3 hours and to ensure that our fuel will not break, and it passes every time.
Amazing, amazing. I actually have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So in your own words, could you describe to us what is the top reasons to invest in Trillion?
Well, the timing is now. We're not going to have open or open opportunity to invest in Trillion. It's not going to be open forever. It's an opportune time for to invest in Trillion while it's open. We understand and we know the market pretty good. We know that it's not any alternatives like ours that it can be implemented in a scalable, immediate, and large scale and worldwide. So we know that our value will go up significantly here in the next few years. It will go up quite a lot. So the time to join is now. It's time to join now. Once we start reaching these milestones, once we start getting our class certification, once we start signing up with all these large off-takers in industry, which all the names, our value will go up. So the opportunity to put in today to have gains in the near future is now. Another one is you'll be part of a green fuel company, fostering with us, green. Let's make it cleaner environment. We all have children. We will have grandchildren. So do we want them to live this era where it's pollution is getting worse? So could we put our 2 cents and contribute to have a cleaner environment? And then the other one I would say is you'll be part of a very enthusiastic team in Trillion. 7 years time has been a lot of sacrificing for us and huge journey. We're very excited, and then we welcome you guys to be part of this. And then mainly is once we create the value, once we help the environment, once we bring in these opportunities and solution to industry, well, we're going to sell the company who we're going to IPO. So join now and be part of it.
Amazing, amazing. And that probably leads to a follow-up question we have from Khalil. So why didn't Trillion go the VC route?
Well, the story is many things. So our journey has changed from one thing to another, and the industry was different 5 years ago. Okay, when we worked in developing this opportunity. So 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I would say the industry started getting greener. Okay, getting greener and being more to our favor. So technologies have a window of opportunity, right? And this window of opportunity can be 1 year, 3 years, some of them months. Well, for us, we believe that is decades to come. And the reason is because us being able to use existing infrastructure and existing fuel and alternative fuels such as biodiesel, renewable diesel, e-fuels, well, we can convert those fuels as well and make them cleaner. So our technology can be integrated in today's existing infrastructure and fuels, but any new fuels that come in the market that are liquid, we can emulsify those as well.
Amazing, amazing. And we have a couple more minutes until the hour. If you guys are having those burning questions, now is the time to get them answered. We're here, we're live, and we're here to answer every single question that you have. So let me go ahead and put the Start Engine page in the chat one more time for anyone that's needing more information about Trillion after this webinar. You can go right there. You can find all the information you need, and you can hopefully make an investment as well. Yeah.
And I got one more item to add that I really mentioned. So this guy, let me introduce you to this guy right here on my shirt. So his name is Tino, the hydrodiesel man. So Tino is our corporate character. So Tino is going to be helpful in doing digital presentations, technical presentations. He's going to be doing commercials. Once we enter into other countries that, with other languages, Spanish, Vietnamese, and so forth, well, Tino will speak other languages as well. So this is going to be very, very helpful for us to do branding, product recognition, and it's going to be cool to have Tino talking and so forth. And once we do our hydro race, which we're going to be developing other fuels from hydro bunker, hydrojet, and hydro race, Tino is going to be called Angry Tino. He's going to be mad. He's going to be angry. He wants to win.
That's hilarious. Amazing, amazing.
Yes.
We have another question here from Jeffrey. Where do you find the full specification details of hydrodiesel?
So those are available right away. We can, if you can send us your email, we could be happy to share them to you.
And if you put your email in the chat there, we'll be able to reply. And I saw one other question here, Alex. I'm not sure, Richard, if you had saw it, but someone asked the question, Alex, if you can give an answer to, and it's related to the heating value of regular diesel to hydrodiesel. What happens if we're adding water to the fuel, and does the engine perform with the same amount of power or work as a result of us adding water and expanding the capacity to 125%? So if you can give some comments with regards to the available work from the engine.
Yeah, so naturally, the heating value will be lower, and it's not linear. 20% is not 20% less. So the heating value of regular diesel fuel is around 43 megajoules per kilogram. And then you have hydrodiesel that is around 3940 megajoules per kilogram. So when people see these two values, they naturally would say, well, you're going to have to consume more hydrodiesel because you have less heating value. But the truth is not. It's more heat release with the superheated steam. And we have reports available that we can share with you as well. So now that we have a more complete combustion versus regular diesel fuel. So regular diesel fuel, you see all the soot, all the black smoke out of the pipe. Well, that is basically unburned hydrocarbon. So you're not burning all the fuel. That's waste fuel. You're throwing fuel out the tailpipe. So with hydrodiesel now having a complete combustion, so now you're reducing the amount of fuel you need. That's one. The other one is now with the micro explosion phenomenon and the superheated steam, now the extra heat release due to the water would actually produce more work output out of the engine. So from top dead center of the engine, you're gonna have a stronger push versus regular diesel fuel. So as you know, water has been used in many engine applications, from racing applications, drag racing. They inject mist of water in the intake of the engine. They have used water for airplane takeoffs as well to have a stronger thrust on engines. A lot of the sugar mill companies down here in Louisiana, they use water in the engines. That's why you see all that white clouds everywhere. There's actually water, and they actually have to control the temperature and the compressibility of using water. So to answer your question is, with hydrodiesel fuel, you're gonna get more work output, you're gonna get better performance, you're gonna get a better fuel economy because the presence of the water. And then we have a report available on this aspect that we can share with you as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. And we have time to take probably 2 more questions. So this question is from Nestor Reed. Will Trillion ever market to the housing industry for purposes of heating the home?
Great question. And it's not in our near agenda, but we have getting a lot of inquiries from Germany and others, like heating oil. Okay, can you do this, with heating oil? And the question is, yes, we can. But for us at the moment, we have to target low-hanging fruit, create a foundation. And we believe that is with diesel fuel, marine diesels. And then, yes, we will be creating new fuels, and then we're going to be targeting homes for heating purposes. So that is in our agenda. And what we want to do in Trillion is we want to create additional revenue streams as well. So we're going to be very creative on doing this. So from carbon credits that we're going to be sharing with the user, where we can share the credits and so forth. We're going to have a hydro card that they can swipe They can redeem points and so forth. So we're going to be very creative on this aspect. But yes, we do intend to target the heating oil sector.
Amazing.
And then we had a couple of questions that I can address real quickly with regards to the pricing of the fuel. So there were some questions in the chat about what is the price of hydrodiesel versus regular diesel? Well, we work to sell the fuel at comparable price as regular diesel fuel. So to give you some numbers on that, today the price of hydrodiesel is around $4.45 per gallon. And that is what we refer to as the distributor price, or the price that a customer would pay if they were buying directly from a distributor, as opposed to the rack or spot price. The other question was, can people purchase fuel from Trillion? Yes, people can purchase fuel from Trillion. Trials are available. Since we are very much focused on large consumers, we do look to try to optimize when we're participating in trials. So any participants that have equipment that are consuming larger volumes of fuel, that would be most ideal for Trillion. But if there were users that wanted to trial smaller samples, that's possible, but we do have to account for the transport shipping of the fuel. Being us located in Houston, it depends on where you're located. But just to give you a rough idea, whatever the volume of fuel is times today's price would be the purchase price value of the fuel. And again, it's around $4.40, $4.45 a gallon.
Okay, and there's one question very quick here on Sabino about rust. So there's a test, it's a copper corrosion test by ASTM, and it's done on the heating. You got to heat it to 60 degrees Celsius, and you got to keep it for 1 hour's time. And if the copper changes color, it means that will corrode. So we have done lots of tests on this aspect. So since our water is not free water, is infused inside of the oil droplet, water will not touch your engine components, your piping, your tanks, it will not touch it. So it would act like a fuel oil, just like diesel fuel would. So no rust for the question from Sabino Martinez.
And we had a congratulations from one participant as well, from Robert Brown, who mentioned that he saw that we were nominated as one of the top 5 clean tech startup companies by Stardust Insights out of Germany. They have over 200 or 2 million companies that are on their registry, their database, and within the category of clean tech manufacturing, Trillion yesterday or this week was selected as one of the top 5 active startups in this category. So thanks for the congrats, Rob Brown.
Amazing, amazing. And we are a little bit over the hour. Gentlemen, how do you feel